Looking to transform your daily routine? The walking pad is a game changer for staying active while working or relaxing at home. I love its small size, sleek white design, and the accessory handrail that's so easy to take on and off. It's compact, quiet, and folds up to fit in a corner closet or even under your bed. Perfect for any space. It's also a great gift for anyone in the family, making it a thoughtful Christmas present that promotes health and wellness. Right now, you can get $20 off by visiting walkingpad.com/family savvy and using the code family_savvy, all caps. Don't miss their lowest price of the year. Take the first step toward a healthier lifestyle today. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the SavvyCast. This is Jamie, and I'm delighted that you're here with me today, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening to the podcast. I am super excited about today's guest because I have got a new form of fitness to add to my repertoire, and it's one that's new to me. So, my guest today is going to break it all down for me and any others who may want to get into rebounding. So, my guest today is Steve Carver. He is joining me from California. He is the Business and Product Development Director of JumpSport. He has over 30 years of experience as a personal trainer, and he has a profound passion for fitness, especially trampoline fitness. He leverages his extensive knowledge and experience to drive innovation and excellence in JumpSport's product line. And Steve, welcome to the SavvyCast. I'm so grateful that you're joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me on, and welcome to all the savvy listeners out there. And hopefully, I can bring some new insights and some information that will be valuable to your listeners.
Well, that is wonderful. Well, I can just tell for those who might be listening instead of watching, I can tell you are extremely fit. So you practice what you preach. So my husband and I, we were at the beach this weekend, and when we saw people that were sort of in midlife, we would comment on the ones that were like, "Boy, they're working out." So can tell that you're working out. You look great, and I know you have a lot of experience in this space. But we're going to start with the icebreaker question that I ask all of my guests. And it is, what would you choose as your last
Oh,
meal?
well, I always thought if I was trapped on a desert island and I could only eat one thing for the rest of my life, and people ask me this question, I would like a full hamburger, like, because it has everything. It has a bun, it has vegetables, it has meat. And I think
Mm-hmm.
a hamburger, you can kind of mess with it enough every day in some capacity that it could be different enough. You could eat it without the bun. You could eat it just the burger. You could,
Yeah.
you could play with it and, at least, have your something where you feel like it could be something that you could eat every day. And
Yeah.
I'm a big meat eater. I love meat.
Yeah.
From a young age, I suffered from anemia, so I had low iron. And then,
Oh,
so red meat has always been something I've always loved to eat, and I just enjoy it. So a hamburger, I would have to say a big, full hamburger with all the fixings.
that's awesome. Well, now you're out in California. Is In and Out one of your favorites?
Well, it is something that everybody loves, and I'll tell you something about In-N-Out. In-N-Out is great when you eat it at In-N-Out or you eat it in your car right after you get it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't travel well. Like,
Oh,
so if you take it home and you order it and you take it home, I don't think it's nearly as good as if you are really hungry and you go and you get the fries are fresh.
yeah.
In-N-Out is one of those restaurants that it's really great fresh out of the thing because everything about it
Yeah.
is fresh. The ingredients are fresh. They make it
Yeah.
to order. You got fresh cut fries, homemade shakes, all of those things. So In-N-Out is really great right when you get
Right.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Well, when we go visit our daughter out in California, I'm definitely going to make a point because there's a lot of hype around it. I've always wanted to try one because I'm like you. I love burgers as well. I want everyone to know that I got about a week ago my Jump Sport, and I could not be more excited. It is a beautiful beautiful rebounder. And when I tell you it is the sturdiest, I was worried before I got it about falling or injuring myself. I'm not worried anymore. This
Right.
is the sturdiest rebounder I have ever seen. So let's just start there because a lot of my listeners and viewers might be like me, entering midlife, worried about maybe balance, doing things that might injure you. So that's probably top of mind to a lot of people. So let's discuss the design and how that leads to it being one of the safest forms of exercise.
Well, let's go with that. So that is actually a patented component of JumpSport. It is a curved legged design that is looks kind of like a spider. People have described it as kind of spider legs instead of straight legs, which creates a very stable platform for you to get on and off of, which allows you also to use the frame as part of your workout. And we'll get into that more later on as we talk through this. But just in terms of just sheer stability, in terms of how it performs against any other trampoline or rebounder, however you want to describe them in the market, they're all going to have straight legs, right? And so,
Hmm.
because it's patent protected, the only trampoline that you'll ever see with those legs is a jump sport,
Oh,
right?
how did you determine that the legs on the jump sport were safer and more stable? Why were you the first one to discover that?
Well, that was the whole point of the design. So with most rebounders, way back in the let's rewind back to 2009 when there were no curved leg trampolines. They were just all straight. If you went to even if you went to Big Five or you went to even a company, I think at the time, I do believe that Bellicon existed at that time, which is a company out of Germany. And everybody had straight legs, and that was just the design of a trampoline, right? If you looked at any small rebounder, it had straight legs and it went straight down, and they're very recognizable. I know back in the 80s there was a company called Urban Rebounder, and they had a spring trampoline that was in a lot of gyms. They all had straight legs. The problem was, and the reason they exited the gyms is because when people would step on the frame, they would flip over. If they were bouncing and they got
Mhm.
off the jumping surface, they could tip over. The straight legs over time were either screwed on or they had some spring mechanism. So sometimes those would wear out and they would actually break and the trampoline would collapse because of too much pressure, lateral force on those straight legs caused the whole thing to either break or give out in some capacity. And so there were accidents and injuries because of that design. The owner of our company, and I would love to take credit for this, but it wasn't my design that did this, decided that he needed to build a better mousetrap. So he looked at the original design of trampolines and he said, how can I create a system that doesn't have that same lateral force problem where you could step on it? And so he brought the legs outside of the actual ring of the trampoline, which
Mhm.
creates a very stable platform. And like that's like a spider. So if you think about
Mhm.
nature and spider and how stable they are and the way their legs are designed, and that's kind of the thought process behind that. And so that's where that concept came from. Now, as a result of that, it makes the trampoline also stackable. So you can store them. Let's say you have more than one trampoline and you're in a gym, you have multiple units. One of the problem with trampolines is that they're hard to store because they don't stack very well. And you'd put one on top of the other and you'd flip one this way and that way. And it'd be a
Mhm.
big, unstable leaning tower of Pisa. Well, our trampolines actually stack together because of that curved leg system, and they're usable stacked. So if you had multiple units, you could use it as a jump box. You could use it way beyond. And I always like to
Oh.
say this: the jump sport is way, way more than a trampoline. If you think about this product as a platform that has a trampoline built into it, kind of like a Swiss Army knife, right? You can go buy a knife, you can buy a butter knife, you can buy a steak knife, you can buy a thing, but if you buy a Swiss Army knife, you get not only do you get a knife, you get scissors, you get a saw, you get a
Mhm.
toothpick, you get a fork, you get a spoon. And that if you think about a jump sport in that term and look at it more than just the trampoline component that we're talking about today, then you'll realize that this is a very what I like to call a multifunctional exercise platform, right?
Okay. I love that. You mean it can be used to do step ups like on a jump box? Is that what you're
Absolutely. Even
Okay.
if you only have one. And think about this, when you're jumping on a jump box, it's a very hard landing, right? So if I jump
Mhm.
on that trampoline, Now I'm jumping into a soft surface. It's going to lower the impact of that exercise.
Well, I'll be honest, I don't need to stack it. I'm perfectly happy using it as a jump box the height that it is because
Yeah, sure.
that I have jumped on a box before and fallen back flat in the middle of a big gym before. So I'm very, very happy to have one that's lower and to utilize it. Okay, so well, first of all, I'm thrilled to hear that it's multifaceted.
Yeah.
First of all, I have a question that others might have. Trampoline, rebounder, same thing, or a mini tramp. I mean, this is a smaller one. Are they the same?
Well, technically, the term rebounder had been confiscated from something that was used in physio or like physical therapies, where
Mhm,
you would tilted platform that had springs. It's usually square. You threw balls at it. You did all these things where you could do hand-eye coordination, and that's technically what a rebounder is. But it's been kind of, I love when words are used to like describe something because nobody else could figure out because you're rebounding off of it, right? So
mhm,
that's where the term comes from. These were actually all trampolines were invented back in 1930, in the 1930s by a
mhm,
guy named George Nissen. And the original mini tramp was designed to use for gymnastics type of exercises, acrobatics. It was square. It was about 5 by 5, and it was just a little smaller version of the trampoline that he had built, which was 10 by 17 or larger. And he
mhm,
even had the tilted ones that looked like Cirque du Soleil. That the original Nissan, the giant Nissan trampolines were pretty an amazing engineering accomplishment.
mhm,
So fast forward again, I think it was more of a marketing thing back in the 80s when urban rebounding, you were urban and you were rebounding off of this product, and it was a
mhm.
fun concept. It was somebody used it as a marketing term. So, but
Okay.
technically, you have a mini trampoline or a rebounder nowadays are technically the same thing. They're made in different configurations. Some have springs, some have cords. Ours is ours separates itself in the fact that not only do we have a bungee cord system, which is in multiple configurations, but ours is adjustable. There's no other bungee system in the market that is adjustable. So let's say you're doing a specific exercise, say balance work on your trampoline, and you're not really good at it yet. So I want my surface to be a little bit more taut. I want a little more tension on my surface.
Mhm.
So I'm going to tighten my cords, and I'm going to make the surface a little bit firmer. So it's a little bit more like the ground, but still very forgiving. But then I want to do some cardio, and I want to go back to having a much more forgiving environment. So I'm going to loosen them back up, and then I'm going to exercise with a deeper, softer bounce. And
Mhm.
so there's that component of jump sport that no other product has on the planet. So you have adjustability in the firmness setting of your trampoline, as well as how quiet and soft your bounce will be using the bungee cord system that we've implemented.
Okay, that's huge. And I will say, because I just got it last week and we traveled like right after I got it, and now I'm back, and I did not know that. That is huge. Is there because I plan to dive into it and into all the videos. Once you get it set up, is there like a place to go like online where you can visually see someone adjusting and making the adjustments?
Sure. At jumpsportfitness.com, there's
Okay.
videos that you can go look at how to adjust your cords, how to change your cords. You have the ability to easily replace your cords. Let's say you wore them out, or you just wanted to change the color of your cords. When they come in our signature configuration, which is black on black, we also offer colors. So let's say I have a black trampoline, but I want pink and green and blue cords. And
Mhm.
I could buy a new cord set and I can change my cords, and now I can have my own personal custom colors on the trampoline that I like, because I don't want to just see black, or
Yeah.
so customization wise you can change them out, but in its signature configuration, not only can you personally adjust it for your different exercise programs, whether it be yoga or Pilates or bar or cardio or strength training, or which is very versatile in terms of its application across a broad spectrum of fitness. You can also have multiple users. Let's say you and your husband, who are probably different sizes and different heights and different weights, want to still work out on the trampoline. Well, if you want it lighter and you're going to work out, then he needs it a little firmer, because if he used it at the same setting as you, he'd probably sink down much deeper into the
Mhm.
surface of the trampoline. So I can
Mhm.
tighten it up for him to do the same exercise as you, and you get the same experience.
Oh my goodness. I love that. Okay. I want to bring this up because I want to hear some of the ways you can use it, some all the many ways. But I will say this, and is it your experience that most midlife women are like me? They want to order the bar, the handheld bar. I love that bar. It gives it
Okay.
gives it gives me so much and I don't use it. I mean, I'm serious. You don't know of my top 3 fears, falling is one. Balance is an issue. I struggle a little bit with balance. So the bar is so sturdy, but because the tramp is so big, I don't feel like it's not in the way. I mean, this is a big, beautiful, it's like a piece of furniture. I mean, I just love it. But the bar, do you find most people order that or is that just me?
Well, shocking as it may sound, 30% of all people that order a trampoline or our personal rebounder order a bar. We have a couple different versions. So we have bars that are bigger, that are full body weight, that bolt onto the product. So if you really do a lot of bar work and your main thing is to do bar method, like your dancers love that bar, so they can do stretching and they can actually use it like they're in a ballet studio without
Or
having a
like Pure
fixed
Bar?
like Pure Bar. Yes, of
Yep.
course, you can do that kind of workout. So we have one that's actually attached to the product that bolts to the actual frame of the unit. We have one that's called our quick release, which you can take on and off depending if you move between multiple things where you in one particular thing you want to use the bar and then I have somebody that needs the bar, like my mom is working out with me and she's a little bit older and I
Mhm.
don't feel comfortable without her having the bar, but I don't use the bar. So I can put one on for her and then I can take it off and I can use it myself. So we
Mhm.
have that, and we have different sizes of bar. So one's a little bit bigger, goes across and gives a little bit fuller coverage on there, and it's a full body weight bar. And then we have one what we call our compact handlebar or narrow. It's a narrower version of the handlebar, and we also have
Mhm.
that in bolt on and quick release as well. So
Mhm.
we have a multitude of handles that can accommodate anybody. The smaller ones can be put on multiple handles on the thing. If even let's say you're really non-ambulatory and you really just want to get on there and be able to walk, but you need kind of rails. So you
Mhm.
can you can adjust
Oh.
handle configurations on the trampoline to create a rail system so that somebody who is very basic and just wants to be able to walk on there because they're either recovering from surgery or injury or they're severely deconditioned and they just need to find a way that's a non-impactive environment to start exercising because for whatever reason we certainly have the accessory and the handle department to accommodate just about any
Yeah.
kind of user.
Well, okay. Well, what I want to start with is the cardiovascular benefits because I got this trampoline. I do not love cardio, but I
Okay.
know how important it is. I'm very into strength training. That's easy for me, but cardio is not my favorite. So, can you address how the jump sport can make cardio not only easier but more fun?
Well, I'm gonna ask you a question, and we're gonna take you back. I want you to go in the time machine and go back to when you were a little kid. And for me, that was a long time ago because I'm gonna turn 62 in about a week.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I was a little kid, and my parents had a king size bed, and I would sneak in there and I would bounce on the bed, right? And so
Yep.
and the giant smile that I would get from not only probably going in my parents' room and jumping on the bed, but jumping on the bed part and bouncing up and down releases all kinds of happy hormones like
Mhm.
oxytocin and serotonin. It also releases adrenaline, right? And
Mhm.
so these endorphins are reduced, and that gives releases all this happy hormones into your body, so it's going to bring it and stimulate all your pleasure centers in your brain. So
Mhm.
that's one component of this that's going to translate onto the jump sport. Okay, as you're
Mhm.
bouncing on that, it's going to actually do the same things as as when you bounce on a big trampoline or when you were bouncing on the bed. And
Mhm.
not only will it bring back happy memories, unless you fell off the bed and broke your arm or something, but in
Yeah.
general, you're going to get a flood of all those kind of hormones to start. So that's going to
Yes.
be the happy component.
Yes, it's
Now,
exhilarating. It's fun.
right.
It is. Even if I'm just standing there. Yeah. Okay. So,
Okay. So then I'm going to give you the real kicker for most people, especially people that don't like doing cardio. So number one, when you start going on the trampoline, you're going to get into your target zone much quicker. So instead of it being 5 to 10 minutes, it could be 2 to 5 minutes that you'll be into your target zone. So you're already into an exercise level that's going to be beneficial to cardiovascular benefits, right? So not to mention the muscular benefits of doing this, but we're just get into just cardiovascular,
okay.
right? So your heart and your lungs or really it's cardiopulmonary. So basically it's your heart, lungs, and your vascular system, which is all the blood supply to all the muscles and all everywhere part of your body, and your organs and everything are all benefited from doing a certain amount of exercise where you raise your heart rate to a certain level for a certain amount of time, a certain amount of days per week. And I think it's right now it's 4 days a week, 45 minutes is a recommended aerobic exercise requirement to maintain good heart health, healthy cardiovascular
I didn't know that.
benefits.
4 days a week, 45
So,
minutes of just cardio.
okay,
Wow.
now what they're doing is they're taking that based on exercising on, like, say, a treadmill.
Okay.
So now I'm going to tell you something that's really crazy. So there's been a couple studies done. The one for NASA that everybody quotes is a little skewed because they did that with using a big trampoline as opposed to a mini trampoline. And the G forces exerted on your body while on a big trampoline is a little bit higher than it would be on a jump sport. I don't know about any other trampolines. I just know based on the testing that we've done that basically the big professional, like full size trampolines that they utilize for NASA generate up to about 7 Gs of pressure on your body. Jump sport will generate up to about 4 Gs of pressure. So extrapolating this information, basically you get about the same benefit on a somewhat smaller benefit than that. But in NASA's study, they said 10 minutes on the trampoline was equivalent to 30 minutes on a treadmill. Now, mind you,
Wow.
we had a separate study done by
Whoa.
an independent thing that's on our website. It's done by ACE, which is the American Council on Exercise, which is a governing body for in the United States for all personal trainers.
Mhm.
And their study was a blind study that we had no idea they were doing. We did not commission this, but we did find out that the findings, and they took our programming and they took our products and they did a test compared to a treadmill. And they found out that 12 minutes on a jump sport was equivalent to 20 minutes on a treadmill. So if
Whoa.
I'm telling you 45
Wow.
minutes on a treadmill, and I can cut that down to around 25 to 30 minutes max, and you're getting the same benefit because you're using the trampoline, and I'll explain why that happens here in a second. But the truth is, you and I probably are very busy. You got things to do. You
Yeah.
know, everybody's always, this is my favorite excuse. I don't have enough time. Well, everybody has the same amount of time. And some people
Mhm.
seem to be able to get stuff in and people don't. But if
Mhm.
I can somehow be more
Elapsed
efficient,
time frames.
yeah, if I can collapse time frames and be more
Mhm.
efficient at what I'm doing, then it gives me more time to devote to other things, which is great. And
Okay.
that in
How
itself, go ahead.
how does that because I'm going to tell you, I was up there on it the other day for about 10 minutes. I had 10 minutes before my husband got home, dinner was in the oven, and I'm telling you, I couldn't I was huffing and puffing in a good
Mhm.
way, but I was like, "My goodness." I mean, what is it about a trampoline versus a treadmill? Because I can walk, then alternate walking, jogging on a treadmill and not get that winded or that, feeling of, "Wow, I've exerted myself."
Well, here's the thing. You're recruiting up to 30% more muscle tissue. So every time you bounce down into the trampoline or you run or do jumping jacks or whatever cardiovascular exercise you're doing, you're recruiting all kinds of stabilization, right? So on a treadmill, I can get in a groove, I can be really lazy, I can be a floppy thing running on the treadmill, not even thinking because I'm in 1 G of I've been walking since I was, 1 years old, let's say.
Mhm.
My body's very used to doing it and navigating 1 g of gravity, right? So if
Mhm.
I'm going to increase gravity up to 4 times that, my body has to stabilize itself every time I bounce down into that surface. So not it. So we talked earlier about how stable the platform was as
Mhm.
a whole, but I'm putting you in what we call an unstable or dynamic environment where you're having to navigate it in little micro adjustments and
Yep.
proprioception and three-dimensional space, and your body has to navigate there. There's no way you can be lazy. So you're recruiting more muscle,
Mhm.
so as a result of that, you're burning more calories in a shorter amount of time. And like I
Okay.
told you, you get into your target zone so much quicker. So that 10 minutes on the treadmill, you would just be getting warmed up. You would barely be in your target zone. And you'd be like, oh crap, I got to jump off of here. I don't really feel like I got anything accomplished.
Mhm.
Whereas with the trampoline, in 3 minutes, your heart rate's up, you're in your target zone, and so you got about 7 minutes of some really legitimate cardiovascular benefit out of that 10 minutes of working out, which would have taken you 20 minutes on that treadmill.
So, Steve, and that does make sense because I'm always so cognizant of balance because
Hmm.
that's something I struggle with, and I have to get on the BOSU ball at my gym, but I'm very aware of, oh wow, it is a constant awareness of trying to be stable on that, the moving mat or the bouncing mat. So that makes perfect sense in the studies or general studies, if you take 5 minutes, 10 minutes just throughout your day, can you break up time on the jump sport throughout the day and still get the same benefit? Or do you have to do X number for it to really count to have a sustained heart rate? Do you have a minimum
Okay.
number of minutes that you need to be on it?
So there's a couple. I'm going to put on my trainer thing here. I'm 30 years of doing this is in the fitness industry, and the old school of thought was if it wasn't continuous, it really wasn't that beneficial. And they've come to realize that any cumulative effect. Now, it takes you longer to get in your target zone. So if you're doing small increments of that, but you're doing it on a treadmill, it really takes a long time to get because you need to warm up, right? You need to raise your heart rate to a certain level and sustain it. The trampoline allows you within 3 minutes to be in your target zone. So anything
Mhm.
beyond that, you can add together. Now, is it more beneficial to do it all together? Probably.
Okay.
But there's no study that says that if I do 5 and 5 and 5 and 5 all day long, that it's not going to be beneficial because it's a consistent thing where your body's being subjected to moving
Right. Right.
fluid through your body more consistently. So I've always found breaking up my cardio and doing 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the evening is far more beneficial than doing 40 minutes in the morning. Or
Right.
I
Right.
always tell people doing 20 minutes a day is better than 2 hours on Monday.
Yeah, oh,
Right.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So
Well, Steve, okay, this makes me very excited because I will say for me, everyone's different. Some people love treadmill or running or walking or whatever. 20 minutes on the trampoline to me goes by very, very quickly because it's fun. It's fun and you're busy, you're moving. Can you tell me just some of the top ways that we can use it? Okay, you've said Pure Bar. What are some ways that we may not have known you could use this, but you can?
I mean, you're specifically citing one type of bar programming, but you can do any kind of bar method. It can be pure bar, or it can just be, you know, booty bar, or there's multitudes of bar methods out there that can be done using this, and just do bar style programming on the product. So you got a
Mhm.
handle, you've got a dynamic surface that will now increase the intensity of the bar method to begin with, so
Mhm.
that's a whole story into itself. But anything you can do on the ground in that same amount of space, you can do on the trampoline, which will and it will be exponentially more difficult because of muscle recruitment, stability, your core engagement, all of those things. So you could do Pilates based exercises, you could do yoga based exercises, you can do all types of cardiovascular, whether it be hit training, dance. You can just do whatever you want and bounce and thing and put music on and do do whatever bouncing you want. And as long as your heart rate is up, that's cardiovascular.
Hmm.
right? So
Right.
you can pretty much apply any kind of methodology as far as cardio on there. One thing I like to do is I like to take athletes that think they're so strong and so tough that only do weight training. And I said, well, why don't you do the weight training on this platform? They go, why would I do that? I go, because now you have to do it right. You can't cheat. You will fall off. If you try to do weights and be lazy about it, like whatever it is, and you don't engage your core and you don't pull your shoulders back and you don't set your body and you're standing on that dynamic surface, you're gonna, and you're not keeping everything balanced and in line and
Hmm.
perfectly aligned, you're not going to get the same benefits out of it, right? And not number
Right.
one, you will probably fall off.
Mm.
So it forces you to do things correctly. So it forces you to have proper form. It forces you to engage more muscle, therefore actually getting full benefit out of whatever exercise you are doing. So their strength training can be done, right? You can do stretching. It's a great stretching platform. It's very forgiving. Any kind of prone exercise that you do, kneeling down exercises, core work. You want to do core work? There's a multitude of core exercises that you can do on this platform that is far more difficult than just doing them on the ground. And then, like I said, the last thing would be stretching. A lot of people don't do enough flexibility work, but the platform allows you to have leverage to pull yourself deeper into stretches. And it's a very
Hmm.
comfortable thing to sit on while you're doing them.
I love that, and I also want you to share with those who might think this is intriguing. And I have not activated mine yet, but you have a membership, correct? Where you have training or classes.
Okay, well, with every trampoline comes 60 days of free programming. So we have over 250 videos that'll take you through a multitude of exercises. Um, We partner with a bunch of our what we call premier partners that create all types of programming. We could never offer the amount of diversity in programming that we did if we tried to do it ourselves. So we
Mhm.
partnered with other jump sport facilities that teach different types of exercise programming using our product with the bar, without the bar, balance, core, strength, cardio, strength training, all of those things would be available on that platform for free for 60 days. Now, the beautiful thing is we've made it very affordable to stay with it.
Mhm.
And moving forward, I think it's $10 a month, which I
Oh
think
my
most people
goodness.
can afford if they want to stay on the platform and they
Amazing.
find it's beneficial. But if they find something specifically that they love, let's say they fall in love with one of the people on the site that we feature, they can
Yep.
go to their website and then they can sign up to just do that kind of programming if that suits them better.
So that the free 60 days enables us to find the particular instructor or class or
Right.
type. Okay, I love that. Now, I'm assuming these are all pre-recorded classes. They're
Yes,
not
they are.
live.
We don't know for any live stuff right now. We are thinking about potentially maybe in 2025 offering some live offerings, and we're thinking about that either on Facebook or Instagram and do some of that to begin with.
Well, do you have any examples? Because I will tell you, and I there are I think there may be twins. There are 2 girls on Instagram that are always they're I think it's I Jump instead.
Yes,
Do you know them?
I do.
Oh my goodness, how cute are they? And
They are a hoot, aren't they?
they are a hoot, and their before and after. Wow.
Well, you would be surprised that a lot of people, because it's so much fun, right? It's not something that you dread
Mhm.
doing. You're very consistent with your approach to trampolines. And I'll tell you a little about me. When I first came on, I was a trainer to the stars, and I was on a reality TV show, and JumpSport was one of the sponsors.
Ah,
And they told me I got to use this trampoline, and I looked at it. I'm like, oh my god, I've been training people for and I'm a celebrity trainer. I don't whatever. I'll use this thing. And I was kind of very doubtful at first, and I'm thinking I've seen trampolines. Whatever. And I kind of fell in love with it because it was like I said, way more than a trampoline. It wasn't what
mhm,
everybody thinks, where you just can go on there, you bounce a little bit, and that's it. The beauty of the jump sport is the versatility of the product that you can do all these fun things like the girls at I Jump Instead. And you'll see if you go on the platform a multitude of different ways to use this, from very basic beginner type programming to very advanced stuff that even I, who've been doing this for 15 years every day of my life, look at it and go like, wow, that's really cool, but I'm not doing it. There are just people out there that have taken this to a whole nother level, way beyond even what I can even accomplish. And I don't feel like I'm not in shape, but there's just certain methodologies that I'm like, I don't even know how those people do that. So we have
Yeah.
everything for everybody, from, like I said, the most basic programming all the way to the most elite kind of dancers that want to just find some new way to, express their love of movement, and they can do that on this platform, and it's really an amazing journey.
Well, I am just thrilled with mine. And can you tell us as we wind it down, is there a misconception that you encounter over and over about trampolines or trampoline fitness that you would like to clear up?
Well, I want to tell you something that's even better than that. It's more than a misconception, other than people think, well, I can't do that. I'm don't have any balance. It's a super quick learning curve. You find that I can teach people within 5 minutes how to navigate using a jump sport and feel very comfortable on it, with or without a handlebar. But one thing we didn't touch on, it probably will resonate with your followers, is that this is not only for fitness. So you're going to help detoxify your system using this product in a couple of different ways. You're going to move your lymph system needs a pump. The fact that when you bounce down into the jump sport trampoline, that your body fully compresses due to contraction because you're under force. So it's going to benefit your skeletal system for anybody who has osteopenia or osteoporosis. It's going to engage your pelvic floor, which is going to tighten and help with certain issues like incontinence, or even for men,
Yes.
prostate issues. Last but not least, when you increase your lymphatic flow, you're going to increase your lymphocyte production, which is your body's ability to protect itself from diseases and bacteria and viruses that invade our body. So it strengthens your immune system. So there's a health component to this that most people don't realize when using the JumpSport product.
Okay, that's very interesting. And my one of my teammates who Tiffany, she was telling me she was so excited when I told her that I was getting this. She said, "Jamie, I jump every day for my lymphatic." She's very holistic. She said for my lymphatic
Right.
drainage. And I did not really understand that. And then you mention it again. So that must be common knowledge to those in the world of holistic. But so it's really just like acting as a pump to flush your lymphatic system. Is that basically what you're
Okay.
saying?
I'll give you a really quick overview on your lymph system. So your lymphatic system does not have its own pump. It has a one-way system of valves. So two things move your lymphatic system: is movement and gravity. But gravity, everybody thinks, well, I'm under gravity and it's moving it. Well, that's not why. When your body is put under force, especially exponential gravity, your body's muscular system contracts, and it contracts completely from your hair follicles all the way down to your toes when you're bouncing on a jump sport. And as a
Wow.
result of that, you're squeezing your body, and then you go to zero gravity and your body releases. So it squeezes your muscles, releases your muscles. And as a result of that, you're pushing, everything gets pushed through the valve system. And the more you can push your lymph system, which is your basically your garbage man that removes all the toxins and debris from all your cells, get pushed into your lymphatic system and brought to be expelled out through either your bladder or your liver, or
Oh
your
my goodness.
and so it expels all that. It makes your body more efficient at doing what it does anyway, which is repairing itself, protecting itself, and all of those things benefit from that component of what you're doing. So not only are you getting the health benefit and on terms of physical fitness, you're getting the wellness benefit on in terms of staying healthy and well while in this fitness journey. And then the last component, and I'm going to finish on this for you, is like you said before, the emotional component of this, where you're releasing all of those happy hormones into your
Mhm,
system and giving you clarity and making you happy as a
mhm,
process. You don't dread doing this. So our
mm-mm.
bodies are naturally geared to move away from anything unpleasant. So when I think about going on a treadmill, I think about, oh, I know I have to do it,
I know.
but
I
I
know.
don't want to do it, but I'm going to
Mhm,
do it anyway.
mhm.
There's a dread to it. It's boring. It's not necessarily, it takes a long time to get into
Yeah.
it. And then I do like the result. So I do it anyway. But when I've never looked at the trampoline and said, hey, I don't want to do this today, because even if I do it for 3 minutes or 10 minutes, or I have 30 minutes to do it, I'm kind of excited to do it because I know I'm going to have a big smile on my face. And when I get done, I'm going to feel like I just had a cup of coffee. Like,
Oh,
the
yeah.
amazing thing about it is that when I'm done, I'm energized. I feel
Yeah.
good. I don't ever
Yeah.
feel like, oh God, I'm so glad that's over. You know?
Yes. Yes. It's like an adrenaline rush. 10,000 steps a day.
Yep.
What would that translate to if you wanted to get your, and I think that's probably, and you can speak to this, is 10,000 steps a day less about steps, but more about heart rate and what that the,
Well,
or how, but how can you achieve, could you achieve your 10,000 steps on a tramp?
and I'm not trying to push anybody down. I think they tell you 10,000 because the real number is 7,000. They say that 7,000 steps a day, the movement associated with that is good at increasing longevity by a certain amount of years. And I would have to reread the study to give you exact numbers. But 10,000, when I use any kind of pedometer device, whether it be Apple Watch or Garmin or even some of the cheapy ones that you clip on your belt in the olden days, it really equates one bounce to one step, at least on a jump sport. I don't know about any
Oh,
other trampoline or any other thing that you're using, but on the jump sport, if you bounce once, it's one step. So it'd be
oh,
10,000 bounces, but it would just take away from any other activity that you're doing. So you don't have to do it 10,000 times, but you certainly will detract from whatever other things you have to do when you use the trampoline as a component of your overall exercise programming. So every bounce is equal to one step.
wow. I love that. I love it. Well, Steve, I thank you so much. I cannot wait to dig into all of the different ways to use it. It is a wonderful product, and I will have your contact info or how to get to Jump Sport if anyone's interested, looking at the website, looking at all the options. Well, which one would you recommend? Is there a favorite that you would recommend if somebody's wanting to?
Well, I'm going to give you the thing. We have a 39-inch product that everybody absolutely loves, and we have two versions of it. We have a 30 chord configuration, which would be the 350 model 350.
Mhm.
And there's a 36 chord version of it, which is the 350 Pro. And either one of
That's
those
mine.
you can't go wrong with.
Mhm.
The 350 Pro was something that was designed to take a lot of abuse and to be in clubs, and it is our number one selling unit overall. Not mostly because that's where everybody sees in the club. Most
Yeah.
clubs have that product. It
Mhm.
is it's the best bang for your buck. So if I had to
Yeah.
pick one out of all of them, the model 350 Pro, 39-inch skirted trampoline is, in my opinion, you can't go wrong with that, no matter who you are.
That is awesome. And can they follow you on Instagram to stay up to date with any specials, any deals, any kind of, I know you run sales throughout the year. Is that where you advertise that? Is on your Instagram?
Well, we do that, but if you go to the website and you actually purchase anything, or you can just sign up for our newsletter. We do email so that you're aware of all the promotions that we're doing. But Instagram is an easy place to follow us and find out what we are doing on a consistent basis. We do giveaways all the time. We run promotions. We do specials. As a matter of fact, we got something coming up called the 12 Days of Fitness. We'll be giving away prizes for 12 straight days leading up to Christmas. So
Oh,
they can go to @JumpSport Fitness on Instagram and find out what's going on, or they can go to the website and certainly can see what deals are available, that we're currently running.
wonderful. Well, we'll link all of that in the show notes. Steve, thank you so much. And you can come back anytime. And I hope you have a very wonderful rest of your day.
You too, and I always say, keep on bouncing.
Oh, I sure will. And to those of you watching and listening, you also have a great rest of your day as well. Hi, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the SavvyCast. If you'll take the time to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, that would mean so much. As always, thank you for listening and have a blessed day.